Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and I'm back with another Canadian benefit update for you. This has been a year like no other, and we've seen the Canadian government either rework old programs or create entirely new benefits that Canadians can apply for in order to help them through these tough times. But the problem is there's so many different benefits that have been released to different groups of people at different times that it can be really hard to keep track of what you could potentially apply for. Even as someone who talks about all these programs all the time as I'm making these video updates for you, it can be tricky even for me to keep track of which benefit was released to who and when. And as a result, there are tons of people who are actually eligible for programs that they aren't applying for because they just haven't been able to keep track of which new programs and benefits are being released. But luckily, there's now a tool that you can use where you can input all of your specific information and it'll sort of spit back out to you every program that you could potentially be eligible for so you can make sure you're not missing any. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at this tool and I'm going to show you how you can fill out this tool for yourself to make sure that you and your family aren't missing out on any money that you could be entitled to. And stick around till the end of this video because we're going to be going through a list of every single major benefit that has been released just to make sure that you know that they all exist. Because after all, this channel is focused on Canadians and their money with the overall goal of bringing information to you as quickly and as accurately as possible so that you can set yourself up to live a more financially stable future. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because I'm bringing updates just like this all the time. And also while you're down there, hit the like button because when you click that button, it spreads this video to more Canadians who could be desperately looking for this information. Alright, now let's take a look at this tool that will show you exactly which benefits you could be missing out on. Alright, so this is the website, and you'll notice right off the bat it is in its alpha stage, and this just means that the website is being tested. Now, clearly the government has recognized, okay, there's a whole smattering of benefits out there, it's tricky for people to know what's right for them, so they created this tool to help you figure out which benefit you should apply for and when. So as it says here, we're going to be asked 7 to 10 questions, one at a time, and then it's going to show us a list of benefits that may be helpful for our individual situations, and it will give us more links that we can follow to figure out where to apply for these benefits. And we'll have to answer as an individual, not necessarily as a household. Now, before we start, for the questions that were asked, I'm just going to put in sample answers. Of course, when you're going through for yourself, your answers are going to be different, and you'll have to answer differently, of course. Alright, so we'll click start now, and it will take us to this first question here, which of course will ask us which province or territory we're from. You'll see on the end page, it'll give us a little section on what we can apply for our individual province. Of course, this is going to be different for everybody, but I'll just go with Ontario, and we'll click next here to go to the second question. And as you can see, this second question is about the way that your income has been affected due to this pandemic. And you're going to have to choose the description that best fits your situation. Either all of your income has stopped, some of your income has stopped, or your income is not at all affected by COVID-19. For our sample run through, I'm going to put that some of our income has been stopped, and we'll go on to the next question. Then you're going to see a question here that says choose the description that best fits your situation. And the first option is that your employer has reduced your hours due to COVID-19, or you've lost 1 or 2 part-time jobs and still have some income. You're self-employed and lost some income, but you still have some paid work. You're retired and you lost your part-time work. You're sick or in mandatory quarantine and on unpaid leave, or your child or dependent school, daycare, or care facility is closed due to COVID-19, or of course none of the above. Now it looks like this one, you're only able to choose one. There could be instances where you are actually, there's multiple points here that describe your situation, but you have to pick the one that best fits your individual circumstance. So for our test run, I'll put that we're self-employed and lost some income, but you still have some paid work. Now be mindful that if you choose a different option here, you could see different questions down the line that would only be applicable to certain benefits. If your early questions on these first few questions line up to sort of put you down a different path, you could be asked a little bit more information to see if some more specific benefits work for you, but you'll find that out when you run through this process yourself. We'll go ahead and click next, and this next section is asking how much total income before taxes did we earn from paid work in 2019 or the last 12 months. Now, this is something that they still haven't updated to say net income. That's a whole other conflict. If you want to know more about that and how people are being forced to repay their CERB money that they were, in some people's eyes, entitled to, then click that link in the description to check out that video, because that is quite the situation. But for us to be qualified for more benefits, we'll go along this $5,000 or more in the past 12 months or in 2019 for our income, and we'll click next. Then it'll ask us a little bit about our housing situation, asking if we're worried about making our mortgage or rent payments. And there's an option for mortgage, there's an option for yes, I'm worried about my rent right now, and there's a no, you're not worried at this time about paying your housing bills. For this run through, we're going to click here, yes, you're worried about your rent, because that's a situation a lot of people are finding themselves in right now. And we'll click next and go to the next section, and this is all about student loans, and it's asking if we have student loans that we owe the government. Now, if we click yes for this, it's likely that it's going to recommend some options that we have for freezing the interest payments on these loans, but we'll get to that in a little bit, because remember, at the end of this video, we're going to go through the list of every benefit that this sort of system is pointing us towards to find out if it's something that you're eligible for. But for now, let's keep going here. And it's asking us if we have plans to go to school as of September 2020 in post-secondary part-time or full-time studies. For this run-through, we'll click no, but again, it might show you different things at the end if this is your situation. When we go through to next, it's asking about old age security and if we're receiving any of these sort of pension programs. Old age security, the allowance or allowance for the survivor. For us, we're going to say no, you're not receiving any of these, and keep going. Then, as you can see, this next section here is going to ask us if we or our child is a person with disabilities, and that's going to affect which benefits you're going to be able to apply for and how much money you'll get from them. For this run through, we're going to click no and click next. Okay, and now we've reached the end of this sort of survey that's going to be able to spit out which benefits we should apply for given our situation. Now, an important thing to note here that they sort of emphasize right at the top is that these results do not guarantee your eligibility. This system is just a way that you can sort of understand which benefits are out there and whether or not it's likely that you'll be eligible for it based on the information that you provided. Of course, with every single individual benefit, there's going to be different sort of requirements that you need to meet in order to be 100% eligible, but this will point you in the right direction to find out which benefits you need to research further to make sure you're not missing out on anything. So for this test run through, it's saying, okay, yeah, you have 4 results that you could be eligible for, and it's going to list them here. So we'll run through these 4 that we are eligible for in this test, but then the nice thing is here, if we scroll down a little bit, it actually gives us a list of the entirety of every single benefit that we might not even be eligible for, but we'll be able to run through those at the end of this video to make sure that you know about everything that's out there. But based on the way that we've answered the questions on this run through, we've got these 4 results. The first one is the Canada Recovery Benefit. Of course, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that this is a $500 per week before taxes benefit, and you can get it for up to 26 weeks, and it's available on October 12th and retroactive to September 27th. Now, one thing they don't put here that you'll want to note if this is a benefit that you're on is they're actually sort of cutting off your ability to retroactively apply, I think, at a 3-month period. So make sure that you're applying for these benefits when you're eligible for them and not relying on retroactive payments in the future. Now they'll have a little blurb here about each individual benefit where they'll tell you more about the benefit and why they think you could be eligible for it, and they'll give you a nice quick link to click here if you want more information on it. Now it also says that we could be eligible for EI. Of course, this is the route that we have to go before applying for CRB, because we're required to exhaust all of our employment insurance options before going on the Canada Recovery Benefit. So you can again click here for more information on that when you fill out this survey yourself. And also it's saying here, and this is based on our housing situation, is that in most provinces and territories you cannot be evicted for not paying rent during these times. Of course, this is different for every individual province. No, excuse me, I know that every single province is different, and Ontario has recently changed, so you're actually going to have to click here when you do your run through to find out if this is still the case for you. Then this next section is going to talk a little bit about the student loan repayment options that people have. And this is something that not a lot of people are aware of. So if you're a student, you're going to want to thoroughly read through this section to talk about this repayment assistance plan, so that you can either reduce your payments or actually have them completely wiped out, at least for a limited time. That will help you during this challenging time. So if that's for you on your run through, you're going to have to read through that for yourself to make sure that that's something that you're considering. Now, when we get down to here, it's saying there's other potential help that could be available for us. And because we clicked Ontario at the beginning of the survey, it's going to give us the link that will lead us to the webpage that shows us all of the Ontario benefits. And if you applied from Alberta, it's likely that this link will appear for the Alberta benefits or any sort of programs they have in that province, along with every other province and territory. And this next section, I'm really glad that they did, because they added this not for you section where it's going to show us every single other benefit that is available to some people. Now, I'm not too sure why they have CERB on here. That was the original benefit that was released way back in April of 2020, because now it's saying, yeah, you can't retroactively apply for this anymore. So we're going to ignore that for now. Now, of course, one of the benefits listed here is the CRCB, or the Canada Recovery Caregiver benefit, and that's sort of intended for people who need to take care of either a child or somebody who needs a caregiver due to this pandemic. Now, that could be if someone's school has closed or their typical sort of caregiving situation has changed and you need to take on this role and take time off work to handle that. And next up, they list the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. Now, this is a smaller benefit of only 2 weeks, and this is for you if you are told by a healthcare professional that you need to self-isolate and you need to take time off of work for that, and you don't have any sort of paid sick leave for this sort of situation with where you're working. This is sort of like a catch-all sick pay. That's one benefit listed here, and we'll move on here to talking to your employer and coworkers about employment insurance work sharing. Now, this is a program that hasn't been talked about as thoroughly and hasn't really been covered by the news as much, but it's something that you can work out with your employer and your fellow employees to allow you to actually receive some EI benefits even while you're working and you have your reduced hours. Again, if that's something that you want to look into more thoroughly, there's going to be a link to this webpage with this tool so you can fill out this survey for yourself to find out if this is something that could work for you. And as we get into these last 3 benefits, it starts talking about our housing payments, and it says that you have to contact your bank to delay mortgage payments if that's the situation you're in and you're paying a mortgage every month. There could still be programs that could help you out if this is the case, although it might not be the same as those original mortgage deferrals that everyone talked about back in March. And here we have more financial aid for students who are in their post-secondary programs, and there's a whole array of different grants and bursaries that you could apply for. And again, if this is your situation, you're going to be able to click through here on that link to find out if there's anything that you could be applying for that you didn't know about before. Okay, so I just threw a whole bunch of information at you, and it's totally okay if you didn't absorb it all on that first watch of the video. You can rewind and watch it again, or you can follow along by yourself and go through this tool to find out which benefits you can apply for. Again, the link is down there in the description of this video so that you can do it yourself. I know that the past year has been super challenging for so many people, so I'm hoping that if you're eligible for any of these programs and you haven't yet applied, that you will do so that you can have a little bit of extra help as we enter this new year. And I'd love for you to let me know down in the comment section if there's any benefits here that you're going to be applying for that you didn't know about, or even if there's any that this website and I have largely missed that you've been able to apply for that other people could benefit from. I sort of use that comment section as a way to get an understanding of what people are going through. So if you want your voice to be heard, make sure to comment down there. And while you're down there, if you haven't already done so, make sure to hit the like button and turn it blue, because when you click that button, YouTube actually sends this video out to more people who could be looking for this information. So if you want to spread the knowledge around, make sure to click that button. And of course, if you want to stay updated with all kinds of information related to Canadians and their money, information about benefits like these, along with other tips and tricks that can help you live a more financially stable future, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below. And with all of that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out even just a little bit, and I'll see you next time.